Hello, everybody. Nobody asked, but we're here at AGDQ 2025. My name is DECosmic.
I am Jaxler, and we are joined by two very special guests this time around. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Sure, I'm Froob. I've been speedrunning for 9 years as of this year, and I speedrun mostly Yakuza games.
I'm Xem. I play Red. Sometimes other things too.
Awesome. So, obviously, it gets things started off. You both are coming from overseas. I think you've been living in the Netherlands for how long now?
About 1 year and 4 months.
Oh, cool. Yeah, awesome. So, how has the travel experience been coming, like, domestically versus internationally now? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Do I have to?
If you can tell me no. I don't want to, really, but
it's just painful. It's
just a gross reminder of what you left behind.
It's fine. It's like, getting to the airport is not bad. Getting onto the plane is not bad. But then it's just, you have to wait for 8 hours, and then you land somewhere, and then sometimes it's where you have to be, and then sometimes you have to take another flight, and then you're like, oh boy, yeah, I've already spent 11 hours between flying and being in airports. Can't wait to spend more time.
This is my favorite.
It's just miserable. It's like whatever. But honestly, the worst of it is usually going back because of the jet lag.
Oh yeah.
The jet lag in the other direction. The jet lag in this direction is not that bad.
Yeah. Other direction is.
Yeah, it's really terrible. And usually takes like, I don't know, 1 to 1.5 weeks before I'm like, okay, all right, I feel okay.
I can, get my feet underneath me a little bit.
Yeah. Turns out that that thing that all of our ancestors had, like a circadian rhythm for 50,000 years.
Yeah. It matters.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe slightly matters.
Yeah. And you feel good when you're on it.
Yeah.
Froob, for you?
Yeah, no, it's, I preface the exact same, honestly. I think it helps that last year when traveling to AGDQ, I had an awful experience. I had a 3.5-hour layover in JFK after my 8-hour flight.
I'm so sorry.
The worst thing was, there was one flight that arrived ahead of us, there was our flight, one flight behind us, and for the entire 3 hours that I was in the line, Passport Control had one person working it. So I missed my flight by 10 minutes because there was just no way through. This year, I got through Passport Control quicker than I've ever gotten through Passport Control when going back to Heathrow, which is wild.
That is pretty
so
wild.
So this time, I had a 4-hour connection, and this time I did have to wait the entire time. Just and the part of the airport where I was from JFK to Pittsburgh has nothing. Like one eatery place, which is just a pizza place, which it was pretty good pizza, I will give them that. Like a gift shop, and that's it. So, yeah, waiting there, as you say, for a couple of hours is just boring.
It's bad.
It's boring.
Yeah. It's bad.
Pretty boring.
Yeah.
I got to take the train, so I'm.
So
I'm from Delaware, and I got my parents to drive me up to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and then I just took the train from there. It's about 6 hours. Yeah. So.
Wow, it's still 6 hours from Lancaster.
Yeah,
that's
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
From Philly, it's 8, something like that.
Yeah, I always hear that the trains take forever.
Yeah.
It sure beat driving 5 hours in the snow though. So I was I'll take that.
I feel like I got super lucky because I drove in from Indiana, so the drive was there's no one on the road, there was no weather, no nothing.
There's never anyone on the road.
Well, that is true.
It's not in Indiana.
It's a barren wasteland in Ohio, Oh my God.
So, how has the event been for you two so far? We've all got our runs out of the way, so we're just kind of chilling right now. Do either of you don't have any comms left, either of you, right? Or anything like that?
No, because we got golf with your grandmother out of the way last night.
That was an experience. You both went into that blind at King Jay's request, right? Yeah, so.
Yeah.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
Was it? I don't I don't know, man.
I would almost say I don't want to blaspheme against golf with your grandma. I feel like maybe it was a bit overhyped for me. Just a bit. Everyone was like, oh, you're going to be on golf with your grandma. And it was a funny game.
Yeah.
But I expected, it was, it's my fault because I set the expectations too high.
Yeah, you set yourself up for failure a little bit.
Yeah, because I was like, what the fuck is going to happen in this game? Also, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you're fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely the fuck yes.
All right. Okay, cool. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the craziest, trippiest shit ever. Yeah. And then it was just golf with the grandmas, the ball. All right, well that's still funny.
Yeah. Then the grandma gets fucking ripped apart, and it's just like, oh, this is gore of my discomfort character. This is
Gore with your grandmother.
Gore with your grandmother.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a life lesson in the removal of expectation.
Oh man, that's
Oh
good.
my god.
Yeah. So, how's the event been for you both so far? Really?
For me, it's been good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
It's no, I mean, I think honestly, like my run, I couldn't be happier with it.
Yeah.
Went super well. And people like the donation incentive as well, so I was really happy about that. I'm sick, which sucks, but you know,
Hey,
Happens.
that's it's just the fucking. I mean,
Pittsburgh area.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it anymore, and like in the Netherlands, in the Netherlands, it never dips below freezing. And,
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And it's a very humid country as well, because it's. I mean, I'm sure you experience the same thing in the UK, where it's just like, winter's never that cold and the air's never that dry. So like coming here, it was just like my sinuses felt completely assaulted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How about you, Froob?
Yeah, very similar. I've had constant nosebleeds because the dry air. Like, it's kind of weird. I like the area where this event is because, like, Market Square just over that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Like, there's like nearby Targets, 7-Eleven, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Really great, like, actual area. The hotel feels antiquated.
I
Like,
hate this hotel.
Yeah,
this
it's
hotel
it's
sucks.
pretty bad. Yeah.
I think that's a common theme across a lot of people. As you were kind of alluding to, it'd be great if it actually moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got stuck in an elevator.
That happened
We
to me
had to
too.
pull the doors open.
Oh my goodness. One of mine stopped, and then I had to rescan my badge and then hit a floor again, and then it moved again, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this is like my worst nightmare right now.
It
Yeah.
wasn't in the middle of
oh
the
my-
free, was it?
What's up?
Well, it wasn't the middle of the free elevators on the side, was it?
No, it was
on
right
the side.
Yeah, it was right side.
Mine was
It was the same one for me. It was me, my two boys that I'm with, and my dad. But the four of us were
Oh,
in an
goodness.
elevator with like 5 other strangers. And
Yeah.
on floor 7, it just got and it just stayed there. And we were like, all right, I guess we're just gonna be here for a bit. God, fuck that elevator.
Yeah.
Fuck this hotel, man.
Yeah.
I get it, but like, whatever.
Dude, that's right. I forgot you brought your dad with you here.
Yeah, that was fun.
How was that for your dad to like experience what this is kind of like?
Dude, he's a construction worker, so he's used to being surrounded by very interesting types of people.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
And so I was like, Dad, there's gonna be some weird people here, okay? You just gotta go with it. And he was like, all right, yeah, that's fine. he took it like a champ. It was awesome.
It was super nice too, because that's how I ended up seeing you for the first time this week. Is just you and your dad, and he's like, "Oh, Jackson, pleasure to meet you." And I'm like, "Just call me Brett." Not quite, but you got the spirit. But
It is really cool to see like people that are kind of coming from outside more. Like I saw somebody here with their kid earlier because Covered Mouth was giving the kid like the whole safety rundown and everything. Like if somebody has a staff badge and a safety badge there, you can talk to them if you need to find somebody. And I'm like, that's just really cool that, you know, it's like, it started as this niche thing and then over the years we've grown to become more of like, I guess, an audience. Like it's not solely people that are just speedrunners here. There are people getting into the thing from purely spectator. Yeah.
that was actually something I kind of want to pick both of your brains on, because like you haven't been to an in-person GDQ in a couple of years at this point, right? And then you don't always tend to make it out. So like coming from like Europe as well as just like not being here as often, have you like noticed anything like different in maybe just like the vibe or the energy being in GDQ this time around?
No, it feels like older GDQs.
Feels like older GDQs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's well, I don't know. I mean, like, my expectation for this is always the same thing every single year, where it's like, you know, if people want to go in the casual room and play crap in the casual room, then, like, sure. But most of the time, like, at least all the people that I always hang out with are always just partying in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Just getting absolutely wasted, just, like, doing whatever stupid shit that they want to do. So.
Yeah.
And then there's always too much stuff to do and never enough time to do any of it.
Yeah.
That's
It's just, honestly, like, I'm really glad that it's out of the pandemic era of the GDQ stuff, because that was so, I mean, like, again, I get it, but it is objectively cringe to have to like vacate the premises and like not have people in there and like everyone wearing masks. Like, we'll just call it what it is. It's a safety protocol, but it's cringe, you know, and it's like, it feels nice that people are like actually like not worried about that anymore.
Able to be like more social.
It's more social.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, it's just like everything's more social. People, there's like a lot less nervous energy just for being at the event.
Yeah.
Like obviously some people are a lot more health conscious now, and that's a good thing overall. But like, yeah, I don't know. It feels good to be back, man.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been a fun week.
Yeah, it's a distinctly very different experience from just having a run-in online. And, like, I get it, people, like, and obviously in your guys' situations even, like, you can't make it out to every event, so having the option of, like, remote runs is always nice, but it's definitely a different feeling being up on that stage rather than just doing another no reset run from home, so.
Yeah, and, like, remote runs, like, occupy, 3 to 5% of the schedule at most?
At this point, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's... I hate to say it, but it's one of those that if you want to run into a GDQ, you got to come in person.
Yeah,
it's true.
I was having a conversation with Kung Fu yesterday as well about this, where she was just asking people like, about the online blockers. Like, is there really like return on investment for this? Is there really value in this? Just for all of the tech issues that it ends up bringing. Because of like they have to do a whole different fucking shebang in order to get that all to operate and work. So
yeah, with you can have like, and it obviously like varies wildly because like the other day, like Punchy, who's done like so many online runs, like obviously his segment completely smooth, brilliant.
yeah.
And then I can't remember who, but the Warhammer runner had like a blue screen, internet cut out. It's just like they have no control over stuff like that.
Yeah,
Whereas
not
ETNA
at all.
have more. And I do think it's a shame. I think one of the things I did like about the online era was like it gave me the ability to run at GDQ.
Yeah.
They've definitely been pushing more towards this whole like back on site kind of thing, which I can fully appreciate.
Yeah.
Although we're lacking a lot of like speedrun events in Europe now. So
Yeah. Especially with where ESA is going these days, it's like...
Yeah, I mean, that whole situation, I think, honestly, it'll be fine in the long term, but, like, there's just too many logistical things that happen in the short term, and then some people need to stop running their mouths on Twitter and like, making the situations worse for no reason.
Yeah.
Stop skeeting everywhere,
Yeah. But
I feel this happens with speedrunning marathon organizations a lot, where like, I don't want to say the wrong people get into positions of power, but it's just like people start doing it for the wrong reasons, and then you have conflicts because of that, like egos clash, and it's just like come on, we're playing like fucking Mario and Neopets in front of people.
We're playing golf with your grandmother,
We're
bro.
playing golf with your grandmother. Like it is that deep, but it's also not that deep. It's like
I feel like it's tough, like only because like knowing the ESA staff and knowing like the a lot more of the inner workings of why the ESA winter thing fell through in the first place. It's like I could see the line of like, I think a lot of people, if they had like this situation fall on their plates, probably would have handled it poorly. It's not an excuse of saying that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, all right, it's not being handled well, and it shouldn't have happened in the first place. But at the very least, I can see that they're like trying to rectify it, and they're just a bit in over their heads right now. And like, give them some time to smooth it all out. I think there's a lot of people who are really trying to like, make sure that this stays on track, it stays in a good place. Yeah. Everybody's kind of coming at it, I think, from a good angle, but I also don't know that much about it. I don't want to like make conjectures.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still personally looking forward to ESA summer. Froob, are you going to be heading over to that as well?
Absolutely not. I'm being quiet in this conversation. Reasons that Cosmic, no?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
I would like to make at least like one ESA, mostly just for the experience. And I know a lot of European runners, a decent amount of my crowd, or like my audience is European, so.
At the very least, I would like to, it doesn't have to be on mic, like recorded anyway, but I would like to hear about it just because I want to know more.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I can't say. I worked as fundraising senior for ESA between 2017 and 2020. So
okay, so you know more about this than I do.
There have been
there's some deep cuts,
some public things. I can absolutely talk about public things. Like I, whilst working for ESA, got completely lambasted by the other fundraising seniors during like a public run.
Oh,
that's still online.
Oh God.
There is a Dices told me the other day, there is a site on the internet, whose name we won't mention, who very much hate me, and they see me as the ESA killer, which, God, that's a cool nickname, but not going to be far from the truth.
Yeah, anything killer usually goes crazy as a nickname.
Yeah, it's like I can guarantee you, I'm not the person that dragged ESA down.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Golf with your grandmother killer.
God, I can't wait for that to be me.
You gonna grind it out leading up to the next event?
Just out here swinging grannies down the fairway into fucking saw blades.
Oh my goodness. It seems like attendance is up this year too.
Yeah.
GDQ, is
Oh,
everybody-
definitely,
yeah. Now,
They up the attendance cap to 2.5k. I can't remember. I thought it was like
2.8, I think.
Yeah.
2.8. Wow.
I wonder it was 2k last year. I can't remember.
I wonder what made everybody come back for this event. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because now we're just kind of a couple more years deep into the
Yeah, I think
events.
it's-
People feel more empowered to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens, you know. The trend is back, baby.
Yeah.
People saw the first couple ones, and they're you know, well, you know, it's like we were kind of saying for ESA, we're like, some people are going to go to this one, some people are not, and then like, you know, if it's like the trend, right? Like everybody has to see how the first ones go.
Yeah.
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 I think as well, like the general overall schedule for this event has been wild.
Insane.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Like even like everything that's on that backup list, like you could easily just make a day out of it on its own. Like there's so many good things on that list. Like it's wild.
Yeah, I've been very hype about the games that have been shown off. I mean, like we even had, you know, like a longer ratchet run.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
I think that was probably the longest ratchet run that's been at a GDQ.
Not even close, yeah.
Yeah, not even
Yeah,
close.
I think the second longest was.
Was it wrench only?
Was it AGB?
Yeah.
Oh, Wretch only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was, I think that was like an hour 20.
Yeah.
I think that was something cool about this event too, was like I felt like we had a bunch of longer games, but then there was so much else just packed in.
Yeah.
That, like, and a lot of the lists in the last couple of like events have been much shorter, like a lot of variety, but I still feel like we have a lot of good experimental variety in this time around, but it still doesn't feel like there's any less amount of games really.
Yeah, like
So-
there's definitely. I will say there's obviously some series that get preferential treatment. I'm not talking about your Marios and your Zeldas, because you'll always have Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, because they're the ones that do well for.
Yeah, they
this event.
print money, so
Yeah.
Elden Ring.
But, yeah, but it's like again, like with obviously like Ratchet having like a longer run, and then obviously like you know Yakuza having like a longer run. It gives me like a little bit of hope in the future that we'll see longer runs from those certain series that are just you know like begging for something. You know,
Yeah.
And we still have like, long stuff like 7 Rebirth and GTA coming up. So.
Yeah. And it's really proving the point. Like, I've been seeing this sentiment a lot that people like are tired of seeing the same shit.
Yeah.
Event to event to event.
People have been saying that a lot. I genuinely feel,
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like and this might just be because I'm very hardcore horror pilled. Like, horror block has been phenomenal the last few years. We've gone from a place of having just Resi 4 to having, like, just some of the most wonderful...
We had a DS Resident Evil game.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like,
pretty great.
there's definitely been a lot of aspects of, like, the GDQ schedule that's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Which I'm obviously very...
It's been better for PlayStation, especially too. Like that's always been the big thing.
Yeah.
Like, and not even just for like mainstream PlayStation, like the weird, like fucking Inspector Gadget on PS1.
experience. All cutscenes, but it's one cutscene.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
But yeah, like we've got
pretty
stuff
cursed.
like Ape Escape, which is a PlayStation staple.
I forgot that was on the schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, I think is that Saturday morning?
I don't know.
This morning?
My
Something
brain
coming up.
is sunburnt, dude. It's like it's bad.
How'd you get sunburned in
no sun
Pittsburgh?
out.
It's a vibes based thing, man. It's a vibes based thing.
Yeah, you should see Indiana.
He knows because he's driven. You've driven there for like music stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
I
like,
did a couple things in Indianapolis.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. And my dad grew up in Covington. Is that the name of the place, or Bloomington?
Oh, Bloomington. Yeah.
I forget exactly that. Yeah, it's like near the Illinois border.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it is called Covington. So like he's taking me out there to go visit that area.
I
too,
see.
and yeah, dude, it's a miserable state.
It's so bad, dude. I call it Kentucky Plus for a reason, man. It's really bad. It's so bad.
I could say that about a lot of Pennsylvania as
Yeah.
well, dude. Like
Pennsylvania.
outside of Philly, a lot of this state is Kentucky, dude. Well, outside of this and outside of Pittsburgh and PA, or Pittsburgh and Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of it is. I mean, like a lot of it is really beautiful.
It
That's
is
the thing.
absolutely, yeah.
Like because I grew up in like around Scranton, so
Oh,
it was,
awesome, yeah.
Like that whole area sucks, but like it's really nice to live in. Like, really beautiful.
Sick. Cool.
So what now?
I don't know. You got any
don't-
thoughts around like anything kind of pop into mind?
Yeah.
As your week's going on.
I mean, I was just kind of thinking like more towards like again like the continued event and just like talking about like a period of time because I used to like I had severe agoraphobia when I was like in secondary school, which for us is like years 10 to 16. Like I still have the scar on my shoulder blade of someone stabbing me with a fucking screwdriver.
That's maybe a fair enough reason to develop agoraphobia.
I would say
It's like-
so. Yeah.
But it's like, like that's kind of like the thing that I wanted to say was like this event, like even if like people feel like some kind of like social anxiety, like it just you chill after like a day. Like once you're used to the space, the people around it, you chill. This is like such a great place, and like it kind of goes back to the vibes of like feeling like the older days. Like it's just it's so nice. Like like we were in the arcade yesterday. Me and a friend Ghost Kumo playing some Bishi Bashi, and
that game's fun.
Yeah,
that game is so fun.
Just the amount of people that just come up and say, "Dude, what is this?" And it's like just stuff like that.
Yeah,
like, it's great.
And I think the culture of the people that come here is also really sick because it's like people recognize that it's really scary to be here and not know anybody. So like for example, my first event, SGDQ 2018, the Pokemon Runner Shenanigans kind of took me under his wing and like introduced me to a bunch of people, and he was like, "Dude, you want to come get food with us?" And it's like stuff like I feel like you do a good job with that as well. It's something I try to pay forward a bit as well of just like here is all of my friends. You're stuck here now. Yeah. And you're going to keep coming back because this is what we fucking do.
Yeah,
so it's like,
done that for me.
I left the FF7 Rebirth Runner in the hands of the horror folks. And by the time that I came back, he had already downed like 3 things.
I was going to say, was he like going side to side like that one area?
He regretted that after, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure he told me this morning before I came up to do this. I was talking to him. So,
I think the other on that note, it's nice that like there's like with some communities and some events, it's either really heavy into the partying, drinking thing, or really not.
Yeah.
But it feels like no matter what your comfort level is with that, you can kind of have a good time here.
I agree. Like if you run like Zelda, you probably have a bedtime.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, the Zelda runners get fucking sloshed.
Oh, do they?
Oh, yeah.
Which of the Nintendo runners don't get sloshed?
The Chibi Robo runners. Because there's like
that's fair. Yeah.
4 of us, but like.
There was a tweet from Brian the other day. Shout out to the horror runners for holding a rager in a hotel room on my floor from when I went to sleep, 11:45 p.m. to when I woke up at 6:30 a.m. Not even mad, by the way. This isn't a complaint. Just impressed. As someone who was in that room.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, that's how the horror crew goes.
Good vibes.
I saw like one of the worst images I've ever seen. Apparently, they like poured a bunch of liquor into the fucking tub.
Oh yeah,
in their hotel room.
That was last event. Yeah, that was SGDQ 24.
I pray that I never wander into wherever Igdices happens to be on a given night, because that dude is a fucking lunatic. That guy is not.
He's an animal.
He is a beast.
He wakes up and he's like, "Anybody want to get hammered again?"
I like this. I like this a lot. It's good by me.
Oh my god.
He paid for my drinks yesterday because of my money problems while I've been here.
He's a good dude. Yeah. So kind of looking forward again to the next events. Do you both have anything that you're looking forward to submitting, or is that really not anything you're thinking about right now?
Yeah, I mean, you've heard briefly from me. I've got like a plan of like 5 things for the last 3-4 events. I've kind of like not gone for the staple Yakuza stuff that I usually do because it's gonna be a bit sappy and a bit soppy. But it's like this is probably my last year of GDQ running, just because physical disabilities with these legs are becoming a big problem. So I wanted the community to kind of like push themselves out there, get shown off more, because I think, if you have a healthy community, you've got community members that will either like help with commentary or like be able to do runs. And I think the Yakuza community's growth has been stunted behind me, and thinking of like how long I'm going to be doing this for is kind of like, I just kind of want to step back. But for SGDQ, which I really want to get to one more, I'm coming back. We've got Like the Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. That is the full name. The in Hawaii bit just sounds like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Like,
featuring Dante.
Exactly. God. But I'm going to be going absolutely hard on that. but I think I'm probably going to get pipped to the post by somebody else on that. My other 4, and again, this is the great thing about like obviously like speedrunning events as well, is you can just bounce ideas off each other. Cosmic's given me a fantastic idea of Valkyria Chronicles, which it's never been in the mainline GDQ, so
That's surprising.
yeah, right.
Very surprising.
Yeah.
It's been in like Frame Fatale's a bunch. It's been in I think it's been GDQ X once. I might be
Yeah.
Maybe.
but like it's never been in mainline, so I'd love to do that. I think it'd be a good fit. Mullet Mad Jack, which I think I said during my run, I'm surprised Grief got picked over that.
Yeah.
I sat there and was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh,
Fuck was number 4? I've forgotten what.
I don't remember, man. That's your games, bro.
Don't look at me like I have the answer here, man.
Tokyo Jungle, that's what it was. Yeah.
So my whole pitch for that is just going to be, you've seen a dog doing speedrunning, now we're speedrunning as a dog. Because the all-axe version, where you skip out the survival mode, is less than an hour.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay, yeah.
You start off as a Pomeranian, and then like you're
idle.
trying to survive, etc., in like a desolate Tokyo, and then at some point dinosaurs and aliens turn up.
Nice.
Oh, sick.
And then number 5, and this is the one that I really hope I can get in, but I don't think it has as good a chance as anything else. Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, Sleeping Dogs. Yeah.
I submit that for AGDQ, and they said they like the run because it has like, even in the first 20 minutes, we do like 2 or 3 out of bounds.
Yeah.
Which is wild for like an open world game.
Oh, yeah.
But they said, length is a citation, because world record is like a 320. I've got my PB down to like 340 now, so if I can get that down just a bit more, like, I think that'd be a good shout. But
Yeah.
because obviously, again, like talking like GDQ and like feeling a bit like the older days and having like longer runs, like they've had a bunch of GTA over the last few years. Like Sleeping Dogs fits that mold.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's my plans.
Stacked,
it will
man.
also depend on these fucking things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure that I can at least handle it. I might come for like half a week instead.
Yeah.
Because like I've been here since the fucking 2nd of January. It's now
Oh, fuck.
the 9th.
Yeah.
It's been like a week. I started traveling as well because of like my position in the UK. Like I'm literally like the 2 airports you can go from are Manchester or Heathrow. And Manchester is a connection to Heathrow anyway. And for me, I live 3 hours away from Manchester and 3.5 hours away from Heathrow. So it was like, fuck it, I got to just go to the Heathrow.
Yeah.
Which meant that I had to get a hotel the night before and just.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like I've been traveling since the 1st. I haven't been home since December.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
yeah.
So maybe half a week.
We're just going to inject pure adrenaline into you to get you to SGDQ.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's always been a good time. I hear we were obviously complaining about here earlier. I've heard, and I know you've been, I think you've been as well last year. I've heard the SGDQ hotel is fucking a banger.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good.
Because it's right in downtown Minneapolis, so there's actually like, as opposed to that old venue, if you remember, where it was just like the middle of fucking nowhere.
22?
Yeah,
Nowhere.
yeah. 22.
Bloomington, was it?
They had the Mexican place, which was good.
That-
I went
oh,
there
yeah.
every fucking day.
Yeah.
That was good.
They've had a lot of misses over the years when it comes to the SGDQ hotels.
Yeah.
And it sounds nice. It sounds like the hotel wants to like grow with the event as well. Which
Yeah.
is-
Yeah, that's really
that's
good.
what
so.
you want. So
Yeah. So, Zem?
Then what
got
about you?
anything?
I feel like it's a better question to ask, like, what you want to do. Cause
That's a
I feel
good
like,
question, yeah,
Yeah,
'cause-
because, like, you seem like you're heading in a really interesting trajectory
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, I don't know. I had plans. Some of them worked out, and a lot of them didn't.
Yeah.
As life goes.
It's true. Yeah.
And I don't know, really, as somebody who has chronically overthought my way into oblivion more times than I care to admit,
Feel that.
I'm in my 30s now, and I don't. I'm trying to practice the removal of expectation.
yeah.
Working on it.
Shout outs to Golf with Your Grandma for helping. But honestly, I mean, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to be doing. To truth be told, all I know right now, my singular focus is I just want to get better at making content.
Yeah.
And in all aspects of my life, in my Twitch streaming, in my YouTube creation, in my everything, like my social media management or whatever.
Yeah.
My editing skills, they all. I'm at a point now where it's just like I really value GDQ. I really, really do. But I'm at the point now where I've also kind of understood that just like, yeah, I got to be thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And and it's not a bad thing at all. It's just like, yeah, like, I have to think a bit more logically about it. Like, am I really getting ROI being out here all the time, like every 6 months, or
Yeah.
is it better for me to just take a 6-month hiatus from things and just do what I gotta do to move myself forward in life?
Yeah.
So like, you know, right now, honestly, like my biggest 2025 goal is kind of to just stop thinking so hard about stuff, which like that, like it like I'm trying to just act more of just like, all right, like every day I want to wake up, I want to do some work, like some good deep focused work on improving the trajectory of my YouTube channel. I want to stream a bit, and then I want to have a good work-life balance and go do some things that are healthy for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good.
And I, like, basically, like, everything that I've been doing, to kind of give a bit of context, because I can understand health issues and how they can impact the way that they can influence what's going to happen with you. At the beginning of the year, I couldn't walk for 6 months because my sciatic nerve got blown out. And it was just like, you know, like, at a certain point, like, you know, I wallowed in my own misery for several months, and then I got my doctor's appointment. Like, basically, it started at the end of December, and then in, you know, this is like a very European thing. Like, I finally got to the doctor in April.
Yeah.
All about that.
And the doctor was like, okay, so we're going to need to get you to a specialist. And I was like, okay, so when's the next available opening for a specialist? And she's like, oh, July.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I was like, like, are you fucking kidding me? I got to deal with this for another 3 months.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know if it, like, I don't want to make it sound like this is a thing that I think is true in all cases, but at least for mine, it actually ended up being a good thing that I was forced to wait, because I had to kind of have a deep talk with myself and just be like, is this something I can actually, like, make progress on, and I'm just being a lazy piece of shit about it?
Yeah.
You know, and I had to think a bit like a scientist. I had to be like, okay, I got to figure out what the hell's going on here. And like,
yeah.
if there's ways I can work on this on my own. And I was very lucky because there was a common denominator that every time my sciatic nerve had like horrible issues that prevented me from walking more than like 100 feet, 30 meters.
Yeah. Understand now.
Now that I can do it both ways, I try to do it as often as I can. But now, like, you know, like, I realized that the only common denominator, I'm sorry, I'm like,
Yeah,
It's this hotel. It's
this goddamn hotel.
Yeah.
is that it was just that I was getting like absolutely high as shit all the time, and it was just like completely destroying my body.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
And I mean, it was like, you know, like I hadn't done a lot for my, like, we're gamers, you guys know how it is. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
it's very, especially during the pandemic, at least, like, I don't know what it was like in Europe and in America, it was very easy to just make the excuse of like, oh, I don't want to go out there, and I'm just going to stay in here all day, every day, and then like, wow, shocker, years of sedentary life eventually catches up with us.
Yeah.
At that point forward, I was just like, okay, well, either I can accept that there's going to be this hell of these health issues that are just going to keep coming at me, or I can try to do something about it, maybe.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, basically I went sober. Well, I started the process of going sober in May. And, you know, it's almost embarrassing to talk about like sobriety as a concept sometimes, because a major part of the sobriety process is relapsing.
Yeah.
And so like, like I knew it was bad for me, and I knew that I shouldn't do it, but then I relapsed several times over the course of things, and then like, but you know, I still tried to like make sure that I focused on just little bits of progress at a time.
Yeah.
And ended up finally being able to start walking again in June. Haven't looked back since then. I've been walking every single day. I exercise like 5 times a week usually on top of that.
Yeah.
When I'm like really on it. And like for the first time in my life, I had like a routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, like this is fucking
This is
nice.
insane. Yeah.
Like I get it now. Like and it honestly changed my entire worldview. And so like that's why I'm really trying to do my best. Like I know this is a very long-winded backstory to
Nah, you're good.
Yeah.
this is why I'm like I don't want to make plans.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I want to do what's good for me now, and like so much of the traps I've gotten into in my past have just been like, oh, I want to do like a bunch of shit here and here. And I'm just like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to play something Ratchet related. I'm going to play probably Crypt of the Necrodancer because I want to get the plat.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to do a bunch of stupid shit, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Are you going to keep going with like the platinums as well? I figured, yeah.
I think that's good as well, because if you can train your audience to be all like, this is the shit that I love to do on the side of like what you're expecting me to do. That's how they'll get into it and start to enjoy it as well and go on that journey with you.
It's already proven itself to be like it works. I mean,
I hope so. I mean, it's hard to know sometimes because content is so nebulous.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's like, it's like when I get certain viewer counts doing certain things and certain viewer counts doing other things, it's just like okay, like I gotta.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What is it? Yeah, it's like it's like you gotta push past the like and then be like, okay, well I just gotta like do more shit to make this thing happen. Yeah. And like it's all just skill issues.
Yeah.
And content creation is so wild, and that you yourself can have like expectations for like one thing and how it's gonna do. Like I've had things that are like like 3D action adventure adjacent, like the Yakuza game, so it's just done completely shit. And then I've played Mahjong in Final Fantasy 14 and had a giant audience. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like you could not be like the more opposite ends of like actual content, and it's like every so often something will just surprise you.
Yeah.
I will never ever get over the fact that Deadly Premonition does well on YouTube.
It's true, it does, yeah.
How?
Deadly Premonition.
Deadly Premonition.
What is that game?
It's bad.
It's not bad, it's misunderstood.
The closest thing that Twin Peaks, the TV show, will ever have to a video game.
Yeah.
That's probably the best descriptor.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-hour run, basically. It's just very weird, trippy visuals and everything. Like, again, very Twin Peaks, very David Lynch.
Okay.
And,
one of those speedruns that goes from having one of the sickest out of bounds like you've seen to just having a 15-minute walking section.
Nice.
It's not a game that you would really expect to pop off because it's sort of in that like Killer 7 sort of like viewing area as well. Killer 7, No More Heroes, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's definitely in the weirder end of those games.
It's like those games have their like
They're cult followers. Yeah.
Like they just want to consume more content like from those like series.
And that's the thing is I feel like we're all kind of chasing that golden goose of like trying to get people to like stick around for us versus I know this person's gonna play the game that I really like. And I mean, Sem, I'm sure you've dealt with this like your entire fucking career.
Never. What are you talking about?
But it's like
Froob too.
I mean, shit that happened with me with Pumpkin Jack, where that popped off at GDQ, and then people showed up when I started streaming it, and I was like, well, it's time to work on the next project, and then gone. So it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky, and I kind of see this the same way as like the Souls runners in that, like, everything from Demons to Elden Ring is completely different. Like to the outside eye, things look very similar in how they play, but they're so very different. And like you have a nice kind of like balance of, well, I don't feel like Elden Ring today. I'm going to play some Sekiro because Sekiro fucking rocks.
Yeah,
and it's like the same with the Yax games. I have 18 games, 19 next month. It's like if I feel bored of one, I'm just fucking off to the other.
Yeah.
Like
not every type of genre though kind of has that luxury.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, definitely not.
I mean, that's the issue.
Definitely not.
Yeah, in Ratchet we have 16 games and almost all of them suck.
There's really that many in that series? Wow.
I think so.
I thought it was like 8, 9, honestly.
There's a lot of PSP games.
Yeah, there's 4 on PS2, and then PS3 is the fucking gigantic one. They have 1 million Ratchet games on PS3.
Did Ratchet skip PS4?
There's one Ratchet PS4 game.
Ratchet 1 remake.
The one that came out with the movie. It was really bad. And they have one on PS5. So, I think they've hit every major console since 2.
That's pretty good, yeah. At least. And it's all been Sony exclusive, too. I don't think any of them are on PC.
Rift Apart is.
Rift Apart is on PC, okay.
Yeah, thank God.
That was last year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it gave the fan base hope that they would do the same with the other ones. And they won't shut up about it. Oh my god, man! Like, if you ever go to Insomniac's replies on Twitter, it's like the most obnoxious thing ever. There's like so many people. Every tweet are just like, "Bring back Ratchet Originals." It's just like, shut up! You're so pampered, man.
We had that with Yakuza for years, with people screaming, "We want Ishin in the West! We want Ishin in the West!" Then RGG decided to like pull it it to Unreal, which they never used Unreal before, and like completely localized it. They changed up like some of the face actors to being ones from Zero because they're popular.
Yep.
No one bought it. No one fucking bought it.
Damn.
Now it stopped like so fast compared to every other game in the series. Like,
That's crazy.
After like literally a month after, no one spoke about
That's
it at all.
wow.
Like it's
Yeah,
wild.
it's because fans truly have no idea what they actually
don't.
want.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
They just want to. Most of the time, they just want to relive the way that it felt to play the games originally, and then like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, when I was in grad school, the thing the thing they taught us about like feedback from like gamers and game testers is that they are incredibly good at determining that there is a problem. They are very bad at telling you what the actual problem is and how to fix it.
Yeah.
You never trust them on that, but they will tell you where the pain points are, and that's for certain. Because, like, you know, they always say, like, body language doesn't lie, or, like, that kind of gut reaction is just, like, something you can't fake. So it's, like, that's good info to have. But, like, other than that, don't listen to a goddamn fucking word they say, because they are fucking stupid.
I got into a very frustrating conversation with a chatter of mine recently who used the same logic for the Game Awards and said that the Game Awards, like, proved their illegitimacy because if they had more than 10% of the vote on games be like from game, like the gaming audience itself, then he was like, then Wukong would have won by a landslide. And I was like, you are an idiot.
You are stupid.
Yeah. That game did worse on every like bullet point than God of War Ragnarok in every way, and that didn't even win.
Yeah.
Get over yourselves.
Yeah.
There was also just, like, the thing with, like, the devs for Wukong just getting, like, really up in their, like panties
He
a little
wrote the
bit.
Game of the Year acceptance speech like 2 years prior or something like that.
That's just insane.
Yeah.
That is
I mean, like, I admire the confidence, but also, really, dude?
that's
like,
not even confidence. That's just
arrogance.
Like,
Yeah, I guess,
stupidity.
yeah.
That's just
Yeah. Like none of us.
Removal of expectations.
It's really fun because like none of us are saying like it's a bad game whatsoever. I've not played it, so I can't like.
It's probably
put my
bad.
2 cents.
So,
yeah.
it's probably
Like,
mid.
it's kind of the same as like looking at the Game of the Year like itself. Like I don't think it was a bad year. I'm really glad Astro won. That surprised me. But it's like
I
any
hate
other
that
year.
game. I hate
And
that game.
really?
Yeah. I think
You
it's
hate Astrobot?
I think it's substanceless referential garbage, yeah.
Oh my god.
but it's fun.
Yeah.
A lot of things are fun that are also substanceless referential garbage. Dino Crisis rides the coattails of Jurassic Park and Resident Evil, and that is the only reason people like that game. Also, they might have a redhead fetish. I don't know. Like,
Oh my god.
like, nobody ever says to me, man, that innovative Dino Crisis gameplay is so fun. They're like, I want to play Resident Evil with a redhead and dinosaurs.
Which is the whole reason why they're not bringing Dino Crisis back, because they don't know what the fuck to do with it.
I mean, Exoprimal seemed cool.
As the dumb motherfucker that actually did buy Exoprimal, I enjoyed it. But I would not pay full price for Exoprimal.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody ever talks about how gas the movement looks in Dino Crisis 3. People are like, man, there's
There's
dinosaurs.
a third Dino Crisis game?
Yes, yeah, they were in space and everything.
I did not. I know there was a second one.
It was what
Xbox
killed the
One
franchise.
exclusive. It was
No,
supposed to be
like
set
original
in
Xbox.
New York.
Original Xbox.
Yeah,
original
it's supposed
Xbox.
to be set in New York.
But like in the deep future.
Yeah, and
So
then
they're
a
in
little-
space.
A little event called 9/11 happened, and they had to change the entire,
Oh, yeah, that's
the
right,
entire
yeah.
setting of the game.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we got dinosaurs in space, which sounds like a cool concept.
I was gonna say, people try to say to me, "There's dinosaurs in space in this game. It's so bad," and I'm like, "You just said like one of the best things like ever."
That's a great sentence.
They're like, "You have to fly around with a jetpack and shoot dinosaurs in space. This is supposed to be bad." Like,
Why are you threatening me with a good
exactly.
time? It's like,
but it sold terribly. Like
Yeah,
it killed the
like-
franchise. Yeah.
Because of the whole, like rush development to change up the setting and stuff. If
Yeah.
they had like a year more in the oven, would have done one.
Oh, yeah, it'd probably been all right. Yeah. But
Yeah, it's at that point now where it's like, where do you go from Dino Crisis 3? Does Capcom have that, like that expectation that it do well brought out now?
Yeah.
But then they're going into their backlog.
yeah,
Which,
they are.
Holy fuck. Which Onimush is so clever because they obviously using the enemy design or the enemy designer from Kidetsugami, which I love that game. Like that's going to be a slept-on game that no one's going to remember in a few years. Like it's
10 years down the line, it'll.
I would agree, but you're saying hieroglyphics to me right now.
it's like
a damn thing.
It's like a smaller budget release from Capcom from last year. It's a strategy game, but it also has real-time elements. You control a character like it's an action game, and then place down units like a strategy game.
Okay.
It's got a really cool concept to it, and it's indicative of that kind of older PS2 era of Capcom.
So it's a cosmic game, is what you're saying.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
If I played RTSs,
Yeah.
If I played that,
It's just it was nice to have something like that.
Yeah.
It didn't set the world on fire. I think Capcom said it didn't sell to their expectations, which sucks. They did it on Game Pass as well at the same time.
Which is it's really just a shame because I really do want to see new stuff because I think everybody's next favorite thing is going to be an original IP. I mean, Orson Welles said that the most dangerous thing in media is the homage. So Pragmata, wherever the hell Pragmata's going. Yeah. So.
That's the kind of the same thing. The Project Sentry reveal from RGG is it's going to be a fucking Yakuza Origins game, and it's I don't want it to be. Just make it its own thing. It's going to have ties to the main Yakuza universe. Just have it its own thing, please. Make new stuff. Do what you want to do, which I guess is why we're getting Virtua Fighter 6.
I'm just terrified for all the new fucking big name releases that are going to get in on second submission period. Because
God.
My spicy take is that we need to abolish the second game submission period because I think it's dog shit.
We can give some opinions about that if you want to.
I feel like the second. I don't know when GDQ started doing it. I know ESA started doing it way earlier. I feel like this is a.
Yeah, well, that's because they suck.
I feel like it's definitely an idea.
He's
I can't say anything.
I can't say anything, however.
I fucking can. I'll slaughter the bastards.
Jax wants Xem to break NDA. Extremely bad.
I'm here for the fucking smoke, dude.
Yeah, I'm ESA's lawyer now.
I think we're under NDA for two different reasons. But it's I kind of see that. It's I kind of like knowing, ahead of time what's gonna get in, and I get why they want second game submissions because new games do well.
It prints money. That's the reason you do it.
Yeah, don't
get me wrong.
It makes a lot of sense. With again because it's my wheelhouse with Yakuza stuff. We've always gotten the more newer things in, unless there's something absurd like Infinite Wealth's 8-hour run at the time.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's gonna make GDQ money. And they're a charity.
End of the day, we are here for that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with Yakuza 1 that was here, that's the first time any of the older games have been here. Was it last year? No, it was the year before. That's the first time we've got a actually, was this the first? No, it was Kiwami. That was the first time we got a non-Dragon Engine Yakuza game because they only took the latest ones. Because, new shiny thing.
Ooh.
So
yeah,
I kind of feel that the second submission definitely feels like those games then get the brunt of a lot of the attention.
And the other thing too is I feel like it favors specific types of games and communities over others because it's basically making it harder for certain genres with more obscure games platformers, for example. We're having a lot of fucking platformer renaissance right now. I mean, fucking Astrobot, for example, where it's just because second game submission exists, it kind of tightens the squeeze on that. It also just means certain types of games get overrepresented at events, and I think that's kind of rough.
I think there is also a fear with second submission that again, the in community quarreling of who submits this, who gets it in, and then this isn't ready, that isn't ready, etc. It's just it can be a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you two as content creators might be able to give some insight into the arms race of speedrunning because I think the second submission period kind of creates some of that environment too because everybody's rushing to be the optimal one or to be the one that kind of submits too. So anything like that, have you experienced that in Sony at all or the PlayStation crowd or? I don't know if that was a thing when Rift Apart came out or.
Not really, no. Usually it's just whoever's actually interested in the games will end up running them, and then I don't know. I guess we do have there's definitely times where people will submit the same categories, and then usually they'll duke it out, and then whoever ends up getting the better time gets the slot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
just don't lose those. So. I just elect to win.
He's like,
I just simply decide that I'm going.
I was
to
going to say,
run.
he's like, I don't experience the arms race because I am the race.
I am the arms.
I am the arms, dude.
It really, like, I don't know. I really don't want to make it sound like I'm like gassing myself up or whatever, but it is a known thing in the Ratchet community that like, if I'm gonna submit, that I'll usually get the slot just because I'm a known person for GDQ. I have the biggest audience.
And you're
Well, when you're
best time.
consistent,
Yeah.
like that's the other fucking
Yeah.
thing. You're one of the most consistent runners in Ratchet. Period.
So I'd say overall, like, we have a pretty good ecosystem where it's just like, especially now that I'm not in the country anymore, like I'm not really at these things a whole lot, and like, so it makes it nice for like everybody else who may get overlooked by the games committee just because there's no like Xem on the ticket for them to just default to.
yeah, like Scott Bozo getting like all titanium bolts in for example.
Yeah, and also Nick got
a run in last event. Yeah.
And so it makes a nice balance, and then if I do submit, then it can become like a special thing that I like.
Then we can all rally around.
Back, and then you know.
That confidence is good as well. That confidence is great to have. It's like that's kind of the similar like reasons as to why like I stepped back from like Yakuza runs for a few years was because I wanted the rest of the community to get their stuff in, and it's like I'm the old man that's in the way because like you, I'm the face of the scene.
Yeah.
I don't always like being called the Yakuza guy, but I'm the Yakuza.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And then you have some people who don't want to step out of the way, and then it really does stifle the community.
Yes.
People don't know how good they can have it until there's one of those kinds of situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like,
There's one specific example that comes to mind, but maybe he knows what I'm fucking talking about.
I do think that I think there's like a lot of people as well that when they submit and get in have this expectation that GDQ is going to change their lives. It's going to make them into
that ship has sailed. Yeah.
It kind of has. And I think people are starting to recognize that a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. For us in our community, we have an absolute open policy of if you run the game, submit the game. That's it. There's no like this person gets preferential treatment or anything like that. You run the game, submit the game. Like as you say, the person with the best time, they'll get in. Like it's the best way to do it. No hard feelings.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
This is one of the only real meritocracies.
I was gonna say,
gaming,
yeah.
It's like I in my mind, it's like speedrun world records and like YouTube videos for the most part.
Yes.
It's like if it's a good video, it does well. If they're a good runner, then they get the shit.
Yeah, and you'll always get, especially with the more popular stuff, the people that put their 20-hour playthrough of Mario Odyssey on like YouTube with a timer and go, "I got first world record," and it gets all the views because that's how the fucking algorithm works. But like everyone knows, that's not the one. It's the ones that are being done now, being done today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of why like Fast 50 was a little weird because the Ludwig event, I don't know if you paid attention. Yeah, because like it was sort of like a side swerve of like the meritocracy that we're used to, because it was more invite only.
He was running out, obviously.
And like it's his event, he can run it how he wants, But
and now it's like doomed because off-brand.
Yeah, it was such a
which does suck because like
which sucks because that would have been the West Coast speedrunning event that we kind of are really lacking right now in the States.
And the thing is, I think like when the event actually went on, the way that it was produced, the way that it was done was really good.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely think that there was a future there for that event.
From what I hear from all the runners that were there, they were all treated like royalty.
Yeah. Which is really cool.
Were you there? And I just missed this?
No, I
Josh was there though, I think.
Outrageous
Josh was there and Lumi Laura was there.
Okay.
And I talked with them both very extensively about it.
Yeah.
So I heard a lot of the ins and outs.
Yeah, I remember Lil Aggie saying that like at first like his partner Park and Harbor was just like his +1, and then she got added onto the schedule and they comped everything for her as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so sick.
People forget that Ludwig, like he's not perfect, but he's a pretty genuinely good guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he likes a community, he gives to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he definitely has a love for speedrunning. Like
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely other people who have done speedrunning events way worse.
Yep.
I'm actually, I gotta say, like, because because I went very public when I was talking about how fucking shit my experience with the Moist Critical Challenge that I did was.
Oh, yeah.
And to their credit, they actually changed a lot of it, and I think it's a lot healthier of a structure now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that over the years things have gotten better, but I like
Even still.
what a fucking miserable experience. I would do it again though, because now that they've shortened it from 14 days to only 10, and then that was my biggest grievance by far. Was like Jesus, 2 straight weeks.
2
is
straight weeks.
too much, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that apparently the only time they're going to be doing Moist Challenge stuff in the future is when they do Fast 50 stuff. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I think there's like, as a slight offshoots of that, because I participated in one last year, SRC challenges as well. Like,
Yeah.
there's something, like, I don't mind them, but there is something inherently I dislike about them, because there was one of my main speed games from last year, like Mad Jack, which is like a sub 1 hour first person, like 100 floor, gets from the top to the bottom as fast as possible kind of thing. Like, man, that it killed all my passion for the game. Just instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I feel like those things like cannibalize communities. Like,
Yeah, they do.
especially if it's like game just released. Here's a challenge for it,
Yeah.
and it's just like
It's another symptom of the arms race.
yeah, and no one sticks around after because they get burnt out because it's like a 2-week
Yeah.
thing, and they're just like, well,
no one sticks around for the run
Yeah.
afterwards. Like, no one who, I don't think anyone who passes.
because they weren't necessarily, not all of them were necessarily running it in good faith. They were running
Yes.
it because they wanted to
Cash prize.
Cash prize, yeah.
Which is understandable.
Yeah,
It is
it's like
understandable, yeah.
hard to make money as a speedrunner.
I was going to say, it's one of the few instances where as a speedrunner, you will actually get paid to PB.
Yes.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
I will
Yeah.
say, at least for the Mad Jack one, that at least one of the people that was running the game before was the person who won that. Like, obviously, you know my issue. with that.
Yeah, mhm,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
It's
at
all
least-
public, dude.
Yeah,
so.
it is. I know. But at the very least, like, again, yeah, someone from the community at least won for our one, but it's like, it incentivizes, I don't want to say bad habits, but it incentivizes something that I dislike about,
Yeah.
and I can't quite put it into words. Like, there's something, I don't know.
There's friction inherently
Yeah.
between the way it's structured and what the culture of speedrunning is, I think.
Yeah.
What I will say is we found this, because of it, we found this weird glitch, and actually the developers were fucking phenomenal, because during the whole thing, like, we had a bucket list of things that were like, man, this would be really great for the speedrun, and in the middle of it the dev was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna implement that. It's just like he gave us like entire level skips. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, there was a 2-minute long like waiting
Oh,
segment
yeah, I
at the
remember
start of
that.
chapter 3.
Yeah.
Dev's like, all right, that's gone. Also, as a plus, here's a option that you can toggle like non-random levels. So it's a variable list of, you know, what like level layout is coming up next.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And like that became the de facto, you know, run it. But that's also the other thing is, SRC competitions have also changed their rules in the middle of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yikes. That's
Same with like
bad.
another crab's treasure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like I like the idea,
Yeah.
I like the premise.
Yeah.
It just, they need to iron these things out. Like, if you're doing one of these, you have to say at the start, that's the rule set.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, if things get found like during the middle, you know, you can't do anything to help that. But it's like, these are the rules. You have to follow these rules, and you can't change those rules at the end. Like, or like 2 days before the end. Like, it's just, yeah. It reminds me of Twitch Rivals. I hear a lot of people who participated in quite a few speedrun Twitch Rivals say the same thing, especially the Resi, I think it was the Resi 2 remake one from a few years back.
Like the all achievements thing
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
like-
Yeah, the achievements thing.
Because was it Orkalon who was like near the top of that, or like won that, and they changed the rules? Like,
I
in the
don't
last
remember,
day? It was like
honestly.
something stupid.
That's dumb.
I remember laughing about it, but
Yeah.
like, because I was like, whatever, it's Resident Evil 2 remake, bro. Like, it's baby's first speed run.
Baby
like,
first-
like you go up to a boss and you do this, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Oh, hold W. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's probably disparaging and reductive of me, but
Yeah, how dare you? How
whatever.
dare you be racist towards Resident Evil 3 remake speedrunners, man? That's crazy.
Bro, Resident Evil runners hate Resident Evil remakes.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of people I heard saying the worst things ever about 4 remake. Oh my God.
True.
Yeah.
But I felt vindicated because I hate that game not as a speedrun, just casually.
Yeah.
I really do. And so to hear all the other speedrunners be like, yeah, this game sucks, I was like, Finally.
Yeah, I'll forever I'll forever prefer the OG RE4. So
I don't even remember the original one all that well. Like, I remember playing it, just not whether or not I enjoyed it, but like playing through 4 Remake, I was like, fuck, man, why is this game so popular? But yeah, I mean, like, I still played it a bunch.
Yeah.
I was originally trying to plat it, but then
Then you stopped having fun. So.
I stopped having fun.
Yeah.
This is so stupid.
What am I doing here? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of like people online also need to do. If you don't like something, stop playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have to like constantly go on about how much you hate it whilst suffering through it. Just stop playing it.
Stop playing. Yeah.
That's speedrunners. So many speedrunners are in a nutshell, man. I don't understand why so many of them do it if they're just going to complain about everything all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like
Facts.
a couple of years ago, like when I was on the Titanfall 2 grind. Oh, Jesus Christ. Like,
That's just a couple of years ago.
yeah, I'll say that's like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I had a problem with my PC where my PC would blue screen after an hour and a half, and the run is an hour and a half. So I could only ever do one run, and I'd just get irrationally angry about the fact that I couldn't do runs, and it's just like, move on.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
I just went off, did something else. 4 years later, figured out why my PC was blue screening. It was unironically my capture card. Cool.
Yeah.
what a fucking coincidence that was. And just like I got to experience more things. Like obviously, Yakuza, my main tentpole. I did a little bit of DMC in there, maybe, I don't know. And just managed to find new experiences that I liked.
Yeah.
Just wasn't angry, and just now I think that like helped a lot with like my disposition of just like, if speedruns die, yeah, it sucks, but it's like, oh,
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah.
There's something I tried to do where I was like trying to see if I could learn like a new speed game like every month, and I was gonna make like a video about it. But then like 2 things happened. One of which was I got to a couple of games where I'm just like, oh, I actually don't really want to learn this.
Yeah.
And now I'm like I'm like half a month deep, and I'm like fucking doomed. But then for the runs I did learn, I'm like, oh shit, this is really fun. I want to spend more than a month working on this.
Yeah.
So it's like, I was just like, oh, I need to actually just fucking chase what's actually fun and that I get engaged in, because that's what other people care about and get engaged in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Removal of expectations.
Removal of expectations, man.
That is the theme, man.
Yeah.
For AGDQ 2025.
Yeah.
Removal of expectations.
Lower your expectations and move on, man.
It sounds like copium, but it's so true.
It is,
It is
yeah.
quite true, yeah.
It's like the less you expect out of life, the happier you'll be in general.
Yeah.
That was kind of because I kind of just did my first like actual like big boy YouTube video, and I kind of went in with the expectation of, I don't know how to video edit. It's probably going to be shit, but I'm just gonna write it and make it anyway.
Yeah.
And it still did really well. So I'm just like,
It's like,
oh, it's just making me think of all these other things where I'm just like, oh, I keep getting stuck on trying to do it good enough or well enough, and I didn't like shit it out, but I just put it out there.
Yeah.
And
It's like you have to start somewhere, and unless you like push yourself forward to actually start, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's scary, like especially when you don't
Quite.
know what you're doing, but it's like you just got to do it.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly. I mean, that was with me, like, losing weight, like, it's
Yeah.
like, just had to start.
Bro's been rucking and tucking.
Yeah.
Bro's got the rucksack.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been more conscious of my health too, like this event where I've actually been in the fitness center a couple of days too.
Yeah.
And not eating as much food, really, just not pigging out and everything.
It's so funny. After I go out here, I'm gonna like go with my boys to the all-you-can-eat Chinese place.
Oh, hell yes, dude.
yes.
It's like the most 4 out of 10 food in the entire city.
But it's a lot of it, right?
A lot of it.
Fucking work.
There's a lot of it. It's probably good.
No, but it is. I will say, like, I get it though, because like once you build the structure, it's like here I'm just like, I planned coming here to eat disgusting food for a week straight, and then it's like when I go back, I'll just start walking and eating healthier again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like you could regulate yourself to eat healthy while here, but there's so many good and easy places to just get to and just
Yeah.
and like
That's just
experiencing
stupid
the
ideas,
culture. Yeah, exactly. Like as you say, like you have plenty of time to eat healthier when you're back. Like you should be enjoying yourself and doing what you want to do while you're here.
Exactly. That's like peak overthinking of like, oh, I'll stay a little healthy while there to be. It's just like, man, if you're gonna be on vacation, just be on vacation.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially with the money that we paid to be here.
Exactly.
Yeah. I paid considerably less, so I'll give myself that excuse.
Yeah. I think that's the thing for me too, like in a similar vein, but also just having, I think like a support system for keeping because I'm really bad with fucking routines and shit. So what I've been working out with my dad actually, and so like really cool. So like lifting with my dad because it's like, well, if one of us fucking forgets or like the other will catch us or something like that, and there's that accountability bit too because it's like my dad and I are super fucking competitive in the gym, so it's like my dad's like, oh, I can't let him beat me on triceps, and then we'll get like 2 more reps into me, and I'm like, fuck, I should have gone second. But it's like I should have gone second.
That's pretty cool as well because your dad's just going to empower you and you are going to empower
exactly
him. It's so fantastic.
Well, and I a whole nother reason I appreciate it is my dad's like 60 now, and so it's a way for me to, because my dad is untreated ADHD, can't really take the meds even if he wanted to, so he self-medicates via endorphins and exercise.
It's a good regulatory system.
It is, but he works out for like 2 hours every day, and it's like
good for him.
It is really good for him.
And I'm assuming he's staying totally natty in the process.
Oh yeah, dude. Okay. Yeah, no. So he comes from a swimming background, and they are very not about stuff like that. Like that is a very frowned upon thing in the swimming world. So it's like, but it's like, it's like
even at the tippy top levels.
I think there are from some countries. Yeah, there are people who are not clean, like China, for example, Russia. But like,
then there's also Michael Phelps, who was Aquaman.
Yeah, Michael Phelps is a fucking freak of human physicality. That dude, I actually met him in person.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because I was. So my dad does a lot of stuff with helping, because Indiana is actually a really big state for the sport of swimming. Nice. Like we just hosted Olympic trials for swimming actually, which was really cool to see 3 pools in a fucking football stadium. So over the course of the years, I've gotten to go with my dad to kind of like be on the pool deck, and being in front of Michael Phelps was like one of the most like humbling experiences of my entire life. So I'm just like looking up at him, and I'm like, yeah, this guy could fucking kill me. And with relative ease. And I'm just like, bro was born with disjointed hitboxes. It's like fucking insane. Like, holy shit.
Disjointed hitboxes is crazy.
He is the no clip.
He is the no clip, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Just like that, having my dad with me for that accountability. It's also just been a great way, like, having these kind of things and like having other people in your life kind of building that in with them, for me has been really helpful, because I'm really bad. I don't know if you're the same way. I'm really bad at like getting back to people and like making sure I keep in touch with people, spending time with the people I need to.
Ask him how many times I had to message him this event to get this set up.
Oh my God.
It's why nowadays, like, part of my ADHD management is anytime I tell somebody I'm going to do something, like message them or whatever, I have to do it immediately.
Yeah.
Just immediately just get, or what I do, I have like systems of alarms on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'll set to like, if I have to remember that this thing is coming up on Tuesday, I'll set an alarm for 8 p.m. Monday.
Yeah.
And then,
in a weird kind of tangent, do you feel like that's gotten worse since COVID? Because I feel like that's gotten worse for me since COVID. I've been pushing things off more since those years, because it's just like during those years, it was like I had nothing better to do, so I just push it back a bit.
I guess. I mean, I think it's tough to say for sure because it's so multifaceted.
Yeah.
But I think some of it was that like, I used it as an excuse to like not do shit for a long time, and then it became the normal for me for a while. Then I was just a bullshitter who didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But I also think as well, something I take a very strong oppositional stance again within the last couple of months. I've kind of realized this is that like, I just think in general over the last few years we've all been looking at screens too much, and it's completely fried our brain's ability to find like our dopamine receptors are meant to be like ways to incentivize us to do the things that we know that we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right. But like now that we're just like, especially in the last few years, just constantly overloaded, constantly overstimulated, especially in this hobby.
Yeah.
Where people tend to be very antisocial as well.
Yes.
It's just like, it's like a fucking death spiral of just like, like of course we all forget shit when we spend 4 hours a day looking at our phones.
Yeah.
So like one of my big goals going back home is just to get off this fucking thing more.
Yeah.
And just like,
I hear that.
So like, I don't know, like for example, I saw a video on YouTube recently because I'm like, it's pushing a lot more like natural health lifestyle stuff to me.
Yeah.
One person, I saw a video that was like replacing my iPhone screen time with isolation. And so what they did was they took the entire previous week's amount of screen time and then just each day, like, Monday last week, I was on my phone for 4 hours. So I'm just going to sit here for 4 straight hours doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And like,
Wow.
and it was
That's
like,
hardcore.
especially, it was crazy on the days where they had like 8.5 hours of screen time. And it's just like, they're just sitting there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it makes you really understand, like, fuck, man, like, I'm really, like, seriously addicted to this thing. And I don't even realize it.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
That is hardcore.
That's I hate to sound like a boomer. I totally think it's the phones. I
Yeah.
It's at least
the
a big
phones.
factor.
It's a gigantic factor. I mean, like, yeah, there's just so much. You just feel so much better when you're out and away, and like not afraid of talking to people, not like anxious, like have nothing to fall back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
You know,
it's something that I've thought about a lot in terms of like, I'm old enough to have, like, come from a time from before phones were starting to be like a big thing for
Same,
everyone.
yeah.
And it's like when we went out anywhere, there was no fear of like where we had to go. We don't have to get there like, you know, ASAP. We don't need a Google map to get us there. We get lost on the way. We have an adventure. These days, for a lot of people, it's like you go outside without a GPS and you get lost. Oh fuck, what do I do? Where do I go?
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's just like, I feel like with phones we've absolutely lost something. Like,
Yeah.
I saw like a Kurt. I don't even know if this is real anymore. Like, I don't know what's real on the internet anymore. But it was like saying something about how like Kurt Vonnegut had to like get an envelope to like mail a letter, and so he was gonna like go down to the store and buy one. And then his wife was like, "Why? You can just like order 100." And he was like, and he was like, but like, I want like the messy human experience of going out and getting a single envelope and mailing this thing is like, what the fuck else do we have to live for?
Yeah.
This is why, like, you know, I always tell people when I come to these events, I try to make like a trip to a retro store because I could probably find a better price online and then get it mailed to my house. But I like the experience of going into the store and, you know, oh, I bought this when this happened, and then Jaxler made some joke at me like, oh, of course you're buying that game, you know, something like that. But like, it's not just me sitting at my computer clicking around eBay going, oh, this looks neat, you know. It's
also a thing to go do with people.
Exactly,
That's the other thing.
Yes.
And that's and again, like how you were saying before, that gamers know when something is wrong. We at this event know that something is right when we're here, but I think a lot of us have a hard time translating that into our own everyday lives.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
So like that's why the GDQ blues happen to so many people when they leave, because it's just like, fuck, I miss like camaraderie and being out and like having stupid adventures and shit with people.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I miss the most is having a group of people that I like want to call up and be like, hey, do you want to go out to dinner?
Yeah. It's really tough because we're so scattered, I feel like, as far as speedrunning goes.
Kind of the nature of things, but
But I think as well, it's like it's important to know that like, yeah, we clown on our grandparents a lot, but they also had something right about the idea of just like,
facts.
yeah, sometimes you just gotta go out and like, you know, if you can't think of anywhere else to go, just like go to a bar or a restaurant or like some place that you would actually enjoy spending time in. Like for me, it's these days the bouldering gym. Like I'll meet tons of people there.
Oh, bouldering's cool, yeah.
Yeah, you know, you pick a spot where you would want to go anyway, and chances are you'll find people you would probably like anyway. You know, so I don't know, like card shops tend to be a good one, I think, for people as well. How smelly they are when you walk. or like
your fighting game locals, your melee locals.
Yeah,
like,
I have one of those a week,
I've been trying to see if there's like any fighting game locals where I live, and there aren't, unfortunately. But it's like that. The first thing in mind is just, you know, going to a place of like similar, like-minded people. Just the last year, I think I've been to the cinema more times than in the last 10 years. So, just there's like a reason to just get out. Like it's another screen, which is a bit of a concern, but it is like, you know, the journey there. I always have like, you know, like just a light meal outside or a drink.
Plus you have to focus on the
exactly.
thing too that whole time.
I'm not getting my phone out during the middle of it and going, you know, oh, what's this person said on Blue Sky? Like, you know, just it's nice. Like, and like I'll often invite like sometimes my mum, because like our relationship has been strained over the last few years, so you know I'm fixing that at the same time.
That's good.
I think as well something like that, maybe I don't know if I have a unique experience, maybe just among speedrunners, just because of where I've lived in my life, but coming as an American back to America, I think Americans have to be especially like conscientious of exactly what we're talking about, because the U.S. and I guess in some ways, because in my mind, like I hate this. I've been to London a few times. I've been to a few spots in the UK, but I don't know all of the UK. But I will say, as far as Europe is concerned, the UK is very Americanized.
Yes.
And the Netherlands is probably number 2 behind them. Yeah. But like something I think that all of these countries need to be careful of, the ones that are super urbanized, super Americanized, convenience.
Yeah.
You have to make a habit of inconveniencing yourself, because it's actually like it's brain rotting this entire country that you can just go to a Walmart and get everything you need, and just like not like Walmart doesn't exist in Europe because they understand how dangerous it is there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, no, but like we want to like walk around and like go to a mom and pop store and like get some shit that we need at like this thing for this specific reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like I think yesterday we walked into like a side store like down the street down there, and it just like, it doesn't serve everything, but it has like, you know, just local food and a little bit of alcohol, and it's like, that's perfect for what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you want bigger stuff, you go to a supermarket.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, American, I see it so much, especially like, you know, because especially when we're in Europe, all we hear about is like American media.
yes, yeah, God.
You know, we
all
hear
the
about
time.
American media, and it's like
All the time.
It's indicative of a larger problem. There's just this constant bombardment of whatever you want in this country.
Oh, yeah.
They always try to make it. It is like the Brave New World thing, where it's just like, this is a land of convenience and pleasure.
Absolutely.
And it is crippling people socially, because you're just never encouraged to leave your house or leave your space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I joke often that, you know, in the UK we're all about going down to the pub, but that's actually a good thing. Like, I've been to the pub a good couple of times over the last few months, and like, sometimes not even to drink, just to go and socialize. It's like, you know, I get out there, I speak to people, like, you know, I wouldn't do that if it wasn't for the pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is one of those things where you have to struggle to understand more about yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the struggle is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't lean into it, the convenience of it all the time.
I could still be over 200 pounds if I decided not to like
Ruck and tuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You gotta stop calling it tucking.
I will never stop calling it that.
Like, you know, because the thing for me was like, well, I'll have less time to play video games if I do this thing, and then I realized how insane that was to say to myself for that long. Like, oh, I don't feel like doing this. Like, oh, this is gonna take a lot of work, and like constantly just like bullying myself out of doing the thing that I should have been doing for years.
Yeah, man.
You know.
I quit League of Legends, by the way.
I'm so proud of you, dude.
That's the real sobering.
That's the real
quit.
detox.
I've been trying to quit it all, man. I've been quitting a lot of junk food, quit weed, quit League.
The first thing I did was quit, like a long time ago, was quit live service games. Yeah, it takes up so much time.
And it's just, communities are so horrible.
That
man.
too,
They're
yes.
So horrible. Yeah. Just a bunch of angry people who know that they're just like, they know that they are harming themselves emotionally by
Deep down,
investing so
yes.
much of their life into this thing, but it's sunk cost fallacy.
Absolutely.
So they all keep crabs in a bucket pulling each other. You know?
Yeah.
Just like, oh, somebody said something horrible to me last game, and now it's my turn to do it to you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Paying it forward,
Yeah, dude.
That's fine. Speedrunning is healthy because you just talk to the game and you tell the game, oh yeah, fuck you, because you gave me a bad RNG last
What the
time.
fuck, game?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So, anything you guys are looking forward to for the next few days of the event, like in particular, or like any runs or anything?
I'm going home early. I kind of wish I was here for the last day. I know it's like overdone, but I do kind of like the Elden Ring randomizer stuff.
Oh, that's
like,
fair.
I really
Yeah.
like
The bingo stuff.
Yeah, like Captain Dover did like a whole bingo league for a few years. And, honestly, like it would have been cool to meet the guy and say, "Yo, thanks for all the content that kept me entertained," and just, you know, stuff like that.
Cool.
Wait, who is this in regards to?
Captain Domo, who does the Elden Ring bingo league stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like I'm kind of also just looking forward to going home as well. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Getting
like
back to work, or
a little bit. Like,
bit.
I mean, you know the reason why I'm going home early. That
yeah.
helps.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
It's-
That's an actual NDA thing.
Yeah, that's actually
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
actual NDA.
Yeah.
But it's like, as well, it's like whenever going to GDQ, it always like gives me this empowerment, not just to learn like new speedruns as well, but just to move forward in life. Like,
Yeah.
And I feel like I have to capitalize on that when I get back, otherwise I'm gonna fall in the
Stagnate,
cemetery.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just gonna like go back to being like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and like make content for like 10, 12 hours a day, and it's like, no, I want to, like, as you're doing, just like change, like push on with like the things that I was doing before coming here that were healthier. Like obviously, like with my lymphedema, I was told I can't go to the gym at all, otherwise it will like permanently damage my legs. But after talking to like you and BT, now I know, you know, I can get a plan at the gym that's just all upper body, which is what I need. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're gonna get swole as fuck. Yeah.
Exactly. I can't do, like, in a few years I'm going to be disabled, can't do anything about these, but I can do anything. I can do something about everything up. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be like angry at the fact that I'm about to lose my like legs. I want to just like do things while I can with the ease while I can.
Right.
Like, you know, needing like a walking stick or like a wheelchair that's going to like be an inevitability. It's like I could be so angry about that, or I could just be positive now and just, you know, get myself into a good position before it gets to that point. And that's what I want to push into practice, having been like here for, you know, there'll be 2 weeks in the end by the time I fucking leave. Christ.
Yeah.
So yeah, just push forward.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same. Just like, this is for the rest of the week.
Rest of the week, or
Yeah.
Or I mean, even beyond that, like
Yeah.
kind of as the week's drawing to a close, because we are recording this on Thursday. So,
Like 4 more days, 3 more days.
yeah, well, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. This is gonna be my last trip for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna focus up and do a lot of stuff. Really, just try to enjoy myself. The thing that's always hard in my mind at these events is that there's, like, I'm very lucky to have met a lot of people, and
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to know a lot of people who are here right now. But there's always the hard part of just like, you know, now the time budgeting begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be people who want me to be at their thing, and
you're gonna have to say no.
I'm gonna have to disappoint them a little bit, and I usually dread that in GDQs. Good. I mean, it's a good problem to have. but it's
Removal of
still a problem.
expectations, you know.
Yep.
Now, I'm gonna have to have a conversation.
You're gonna have to remove some people's expectations.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm just, I don't know, just trying to enjoy what I can here. I don't know. I've grown, like, the joy that I felt with specifically where I am in my life at this moment has waxed and waned as the months have gone on, and I'm just looking to ride the wave.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm in a spot where, you know, I've finally made peace with a lot of the problems that I have in my life, and I've learned to accept that there's a lot of good even when things are a little stressful.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna not let any of the stress overwhelm me anymore, and I'm just going to continue trying to put my best feet forward and not think about things too hard. So
yeah.
I'm gonna practice that here and then take it back home.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, well, thank you both so much for
Yeah.
joining us.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. This is, I think, the first time we've really had 2 guests on, because last event it was just PMC. So,
Yeah.
Jaxler and I appreciate you carrying us for an hour and a
Yeah.
half.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
Thank
was
you for
great.
being good hosts.
Yeah.
We try. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people want to know where to find you on the internet, can they find you both?
Xem92 on Twitch, Xem on YouTube. Although be careful, there's a French Xem.
And he fucking sucks.
French.
What a piece of shit. He's actually, we've actually, like, we did a collab recently where we had like a Xem versus Xem rivalry.
That's so sick.
It was super fun. But yeah, Xem on YouTube, Xem82 on Twitch, Zemi-Poo on most other social media platforms, because I don't know, that's just like the most convenient name to take.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. Hey.
Yeah.
Froob on Twitch, FROOB. A little more complicated for YouTube. You can find my YouTube link through my Twitch, honestly, and the rest of my social media through Twitch as well. I'm mostly on Twitch, to be fair.
Cool. Awesome. And I have been DECosmic.
And this has been Jaxler.
And,
Nobody fucking asked.
Nobody fucking asked about us, dude. It's cool. Yeah. But we will see y'all when this gets posted, and look forward to the next episode of ETNA, which will be back remote with the usual gang. So,
All right.
see y'all.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.